But that does rather go down to my inability to imagine other people in the center of history. With a lovely young woman named Sarah. So Sarah, we're going to do an interview, but I think at the same time, if you have your tickets, does everyone have their tickets? If you don't have your tickets, you made a mistake. On the back side of your tickets, there may or may not be a red dot. I hear some people who feel like there is a red dot, and then some people who feel disappointed.
I saw that earlier. This could be a bad.
You got a party blower.
Hold on.
I signed the party.
Freaking look
I'll
at
tell you what,
that.
if you got a party blower where I didn't sign the party and you didn't win a book, you should probably like trade with someone who did win a book. Because I think that signing the party is a much better party blower than the Cars ones where I just
Got a dot.
You just signed the card.
Yeah. Anyway, if you have a red dot, that means you won something. What did you win?
Mom, you just...
A book? I mean, who would have thought such a thing, that it would be possible to come here and win a book by me? Yeah, you don't win Leaves of Grass or anything cool like that, it's just Paper Towns. So raise your hand if you have a winning ticket.
Told you!
You seem to be very concentrated up there in the back left. Almost as if there was cheating involved. Whereas like down here, there's
I got both covers.
I'm sorry, guys. And you came early, too.
Oh my gosh.
They should have really stopped the red dots towards the front. I'm sorry, I feel bad.
I got both Margos now.
We'll,
This is awesome.
okay, so I'm gonna switch mics. So for a few seconds, I'm gonna be quiet. But only if you go. But only a few. See you.
Oh my god. That's awesome. I'm happy. I am, you know, I am getting this laminated and using it as a bookmark for the rest of my life. I got a dot. I am laminating this, and it was going to be the bookmark for the rest of my days. I will mark all my books with this ticket.
Go to the back.
I won. I got a dot. Hi. I want a book. I'm happy.
Not really. You can? Can you hear me in the back?
Hi.
Okay. Good. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm sorry that I didn't get more stuff than a party blower. Jamal's gonna continue to bring you books. Jamal's like, why did you say my name? And then we're gonna talk. So that was Sarah.
Hello, John. Hi, I'm Sarah Garvey. I'm part of the Teen Advisory Council. And thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, no, thank you.
Wonderful talk. It was very enlightening. I'm such a big fan, and it's such an honor to be able to be here and talk to you like this. So, what inspired you to become a writer?
Oh, I did it. I wanted to make my ex-girlfriends jealous. I wanted to make them regret dumping me. And I don't have any other skills. So I went with that. That's more true than I wish it was. I always loved books, and I always thought that they were important. I thought, in some ways more important than the other stuff that I grew up ingesting, from like Wonder Bread to movies. I always felt like books among the things that I ingested were the most important and interesting. And I love being a reader. I've always loved reading. I love reading poetry, and writing just seemed like a natural extension of wanting to be a part of that conversation.
So, of the books you've written, which one is your favorite?
I don't like any of them that much, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I think Alaska is probably the most fun to read, and Paper Towns is probably technically the best. But, I don't know, Paper Towns is kind of like an intentionally disappointing ending, which, I don't know. Yeah, I find it so, by the way, I find it hard to talk about my books. That's why I talk about Walt Whitman. I think, yeah, I can't, it's also, it's a little bit like your children. You know, like you don't really love any of them that much. So it's hard to pick which one you love the least. I'm just kidding. That's a joke I can make until I have a baby. And then someone will be videotaping it, and in like 10 years from now, that kid's life will be ruined.
So, if you don't like talking about your books so much, were there any books that particularly, I mean, Walt Whitman, but was there anything that inspired you particularly? Any favorite books?
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I mean, The Catcher in the Rye was hugely important to me, which is a great book, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. Really, that's not a joke. I'm not one of those people who believes that like all readings of a book are equally good. Yeah, so I really love that book. We can fight about it. I'm looking at some of you who seem not to believe me, and maybe you just need to reread it under my supervision. I love The Catcher in the Rye. I loved this book, The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, who went on to become a famous writer. I don't know if I said his name right. Another guy whose name I don't know how to say right is Michael Chabon. The guy, he wrote this book called The Mysteries of Pittsburgh that came out when I was a kid that you would never have heard of. And Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace, which is the most important book for I think a lot of writers of my generation. And then the last person I would say is when I was a teenager and still was a huge fan of Toni Morrison, of The Bluest Eye and Song of Solomon and Beloved. So yeah, those books are all really important to me.
So which of your characters can you relate to most from Paper Towns?
Well, my high school self is probably most like Ben Starling, the like nerd who like thinks that the way to get girls to like you is to call them honey bunnies, and has like no idea how to like. He like talks a big game, but then when someone actually wants to kiss him, he completely freaks out. He doesn't know what to do. And, yeah, that's pretty relatable for me. And I was a little bit like Radar, though. I was also a little bit obsessive, and you know, I tried to. Radar's a really funny guy, and I like to think that I was funny, but I don't have any real evidence of that.
So you would say that you put yourself and your experiences into your books?
Yeah, definitely. I do. Not that much, but I'll steal anything. Like I'll steal from something that happened to me, but I'll also steal from some story that someone told me. Like in An Abundance of Catherines, there's this story about when this girl was little, this boy gave her a Valentine that turned out to contain like a can of Alpo, which is just the meanest thing in the world. It's so mean that I can hardly say it out loud. But my friend Laura, you're not here anymore. Thank God. Okay. I would have known that she was here because she would be running for the auditorium, grabbing the mic. My friend Laura had that happen to her when she was in 3rd grade. And she's now happily married and really rich. It all worked out fine. And she's a lovely person as well. But yeah, and she told me that story, and I was like writing it down, and she was trying to be like, oh, that's terrible, Laura. So yeah, I do steal from my own life, but also other people. I'll steal from you if you don't watch it.
I'll watch it then. So, there are a lot of pranks in your books,
Yeah.
such as Valentine 1. Are you a bit of a prankster yourself?
Not anymore. I'm old now, man. Like, old people can't do pranks. It's not a prank anymore, it's a crime.